Friends, good morning. I'm Priyanka Rai and I welcome you all my YouTube channel. So then this time we are going to start consumer equilibrium indifference curve analysis. You might be thinking how many times consumer equilibrium I'm teaching. But this time we are going to study consumer equilibrium with indifference curve analysis. Last classes you studied consumer equilibrium using utility analysis. Now this time there is another analysis, that is IC, or you can say indifference curve analysis. Now you all know what is consumer equilibrium. Once again, let me revise. Consumer equilibrium is defined as a situation when consumer means he maximizes his satisfaction spending his given income across different goods with the given price. So here what you are studying, that consumer equilibrium in indifference curve analysis is defined as a situation where consumer maximizes his satisfaction spending his given income across different goods with the given prices. And you have studied consumer equilibrium in previous lectures also. Now, as I told you that in whole microeconomics you will keep on studying the theories, their assumptions, schedule and diagram. Same here, consumer equilibrium you have studied. Now what are the assumptions of IC analysis? On what assumptions it is based on? So the first assumption is money income of the consumer is given and does not change. Money income of the consumer is given and it does not change. For example, if money income of the consumer is 60, it will remain 60, it won't change. The consumer spends on two goods which are substitute of each other, students. Now you can see here it is written substitute of each other. Substitute means that, for example, two fruits are there. Orange can be substitute of grapes. Apple can be substitute of banana. So likewise there can be substitute. So the consumer spends on two goods which are substitute of each other. That means we are going to choose two goods which are substitutes of each other. More of a good always give more satisfaction to the consumer, which is called monotonic preference. Third assumption is monotonic preference, which states that more of goods always give more satisfaction to the consumer. The consumer is rational. That means here consumer is understandable and he put his brain, he always tries to maximize his satisfaction. कहने का सेंस ये है कंज्यूमर काफ़ी समझदार है. Consumer is rational. Hope this is clear to you all. What is consumer equilibrium? Once again I'll revise. Consumer equilibrium is defined as a situation where consumer maximizes his satisfaction spending his given income across different goods with the given prices. That means he has some money income and he is going to spend that income across different goods or on two goods which are substitute of each other with the given prices, and it maximizes his satisfaction. Now what are the assumptions? Money income of the consumer should not change. Consumer spends on two goods which are substitute of each other. That means they are substitute of each other. But earlier we have studied it was not the case. There was no substitute and all such word exists. In difference curve analysis you find the new word substitute of each other, which is very important, student. Keep it in mind. Then monotonic preference. Monotonic preference means more of goods always give more satisfaction to the consumer. And here the consumer is rational. He will always try to maximize his satisfaction. Okay students, now we will see indifference set and indifference curve. IC set and IC curve. Now see indifference set and indifference curve. Indifference set is a set of those combination of two goods. I talk about two goods, you all remember, and they are substitute to each other while teaching you consumer equilibrium right now. So indifference set is a set of those combination of two goods which are substitute to each other and it offers the same level of satisfaction. So that consumer is indifferent across all combination in his difference set. That means that in this indifference set, what happened? There are a combination of two goods and they are substitute to each other, and it offers the same level of satisfaction to the consumer in indifferent, so that consumer is indifferent across all the combination in his difference set. This definition can be better understood with the help of the schedule given here. I've drawn the schedule for you all. Just see. As I told, there are two goods, they are substitute to each other. Apples and orange are fruits and they are substitute to each other. Now their combination A, B, C, D. Here we have four combinations. two goods, they are substitute to each other, set of two goods, different combination, set of two goods. Now this combination will offer the same level of satisfaction as combination A. Okay, here 1 apple and 10 orange. So that means combination A is equal to combination B, combination B is equal to combination C, combination C is equal to combination D. Why? Because in combination A, 1 apple is giving same level of satisfaction as of 10 oranges. Again in combination B, 2 apples and 7 oranges giving same level of satisfaction as in combination A. Combination C, 3 apples and 5 oranges. Combination D, 4 apples and 4 oranges. That means consumer is attaining the same level of satisfaction at all different combinations by purchasing both the goods which are substitute to each other. So hopefully you have understood what I want to say, that in this set what happened, there are two goods, they are substitute to each other, and at different combinations consumer get the same level of satisfaction which is indifferent across all the combination in his different set. Now we will study what is indifference curve. Very easy. If it is asked, if you remember the schedule, if you remember the definition, then you can easily define what is curve. In whole microeconomics, if the theory is clear to you, you can easily define what is curve. Curve is nothing. It is just diagrammatic representation of indifference set. Indifference curve is a diagrammatic representation of indifference curve of a consumer. Okay, or indifference set, you can say. Indifference curve is a diagrammatic representation of indifference set or indifference schedule of a consumer. In other words, you can say indifference curve is a diagrammatic representation of combination of two goods which offer the same level of satisfaction, so that consumer is indifferent across all the combination in his difference set. This is what indifference set. So here we can say in very simple language, indifference curve is a diagrammatic representation of indifference set of a consumer or indifference schedule of a consumer. Hopefully indifference set and indifference curve is clear to you all. Student, now we will see indifference curve. We have studied indifference set, we have studied the schedule curve. Now we will see the diagrammatic representation of the same as well. Now just have a quick view of this diagrammatic representation of indifference set or called indifference schedule. Students, you have seen the schedule, the different combinations A, B, C, D, and at combination A you can see 1 apple was there and 10 oranges were there. At combination B, 2 apple was there and 7 oranges were there. At combination C, 3 apples were there and 5 oranges were there. And at combination D, 4 apples and 4 oranges. This only we have plotted. It is not like that I plotted anything. The schedule which we have studied right now is plotting of that schedule only. You can see the diagrammatic representation of that schedule which you have studied right now. Just now you have studied, and you can see that it is downward sloping and it is convex to the origin. It is not concave to the origin, it is convex to the origin. So the two properties of IC can be clearly depicted from here. That is, IC slopes downward and IC is convex to the origin. So now we will see properties of IC, which I told you right now, that IC slopes downward and IC is convex to the origin. Properties of IC and the topic, as I told you right now, that it is quite clear from the diagrammatic representation of indifference curve that IC slopes downward and IC is convex to the origin. Now the reason you have to find out for the same, why IC slopes downward. The question arises, why IC slopes downward? IC slopes downward, it is due to monotonic preference. So then it is due to monotonic preference, and monotonic preference I told you all right now while teaching assumption of IC, that what is monotonic preference. Once again let me remind you all what is monotonic preference. That gives higher level of satisfaction. So monotonic preference refers to more of goods, higher level of satisfaction. With more of goods, consumer attain higher level of satisfaction. That is called monotonic preference. Now IC is convex to the origin because it is due to MRS. Now question arises, what is MRS? Marginal rate of substitution. substitution. This word is not new to you all. So here MRS refers to the rate at which consumer is willing to sacrifice one good for the other. That means you have seen the schedule and diagram and different combination of goods where consumer sacrifices one good for the other. So due to declining MRS, IC is convex to the origin. So hope the properties of IC is clear, and why it slopes downward and why it is convex to origin. Now you all can answer.